If I think of the generations that grew up, I grew up in a rural village in England, right, where people in my family had lived there for more than one generation. And so if you're meeting someone down in the local pub and there's only one pub, you're probably not just going to suddenly not talk to someone, because you're going to be bumping into them again and again and again, right? So there's like a high social cost to that that's probably not worth it. Even if you're no longer going to be, particularly communicative, you might have some minimum low acknowledgement. You still are a person. I'm a person. Now we've gone so far from that. The other analogy I sometimes think about, I don't know how it was for you, because maybe America was a bit further along in this, but when I grew up, we had 4 TV channels, right? And we got excited when there was a 5th one added, Channel 5 in the UK. So pretty much any night, there's only one of 4 or 5 things that someone could be watching, unless you've gone to Blockbuster and bought a video, but that was kind of expensive. So we didn't do that very often. Yeah. So basically, if you're watching TV, you're either watching, the football, or you're watching, some Australian soap, or there's a British soap, and that's kind of it. Now, you go on, it's not just Netflix or Prime or Hulu or Peacock or whatever channel. Within them, within Prime, there's, infinite channels, right? So my loyalty to my Prime, Cinemax subscription is pretty low. And I think there's a sort of similar thing here, where people are kind of, dating or seeking connection in so many multiple channels. It might be that they might not be on the channel any longer that you've been communicating with them in. Right. So it might not be super specific to you. It might be that I've had people before say things like, I've just checked out of this dating app because I got completely overwhelmed by Hinge. Yeah. So I just suddenly got off it. But it wouldn't necessarily mean that when they got off it, they went down every open connection and said, hey, I'm leaving the app. I'm leaving the app. I'm leaving the app. Right. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of uncodified territory combined with kind of misery of choice and low attention spans. And I think that is having an impact. I want to pick up
really quick. I really like your distinction, though, about that there is a lower social cost to breadcrumbing and ghosting these days, which may be a product of the fact that you can now reach so far out of your immediate social circle to find a possible partner. Yeah. Right? Into places where you would never go visit. And all of a sudden it's like, oh yeah, we're not going to intersect anywhere. So am I going to lean in and have this really difficult conversation that I think is going to hurt this person's feelings even more? Or am I just going to hope that they get the point and we just kind of separate? And now that's talking to it in a more recent dating scenario versus established relationship with them. But when you put those two things, I think that people are creatures of comfort and go to the path of least resistance. And I think that's what we're seeing with these phenomena.